Welcome to Ain't Nothing New Under the Sun. My name is Darius.
I'm George, and today we have a guest on. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Gardner Joe.
Gardner Joe.
Gardner Joe's a top guest on this show, and he's been around. This is the first video interview, and we're excited to have him.
Yeah,
again.
he's being very compliant with the masks mandates. Okay, so you know if
social distancing to the max.
yeah, like we're 600 miles apart, not even feet. So you know we're doing it right.
Mustn't be too safe.
It's weird. He's 600 miles, then he's 600 miles, and the other one's 600 miles. Is that 666? Oh, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, man. How you doing? How's California treating you, or are you treating I mean, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Australia.
California's a big state.
Yeah.
Nice. I don't know. Currently, always a cost-benefit analysis between a sunny day and getting taxed up the ass, and fucking having the business that you work at getting shut down, and bowing down to Emperor Newsom. Constantly weighing that out every single day I'm here.
Makes sense.
It's a lot to weigh out, man.
Hey, you know, a lot of people just dipped out recently. It was like a max exodus.
Yeah, not enough.
Tom Hanks went to Greece, bro. That's how bad it got.
I think that may or may not be a different reason, but
Yeah.
I think it's like a.
So, just for our listeners or anyone out there in the ether, I would like someone to send us a link to the Greek legislation saying if they have or have not passed the pedophilia. A lot of comments and critiques on that part. Believe what you will. It's not just a Q thing, it's a truther community thing. So, regardless of why he left, it's very suspicious that he would be getting. And it's an honorary. Well, okay, that's fine. Just call it what you want.
Hit us up on our Twitter at not underscore Joe Taco or whatever.
Yeah.
As far as we'll take it there, take it on Instagram logically underscore GQ. We'll take it. We want to know. We want to know because we're having a debacle with that.
And what else everyone wants to know today? Do you guys want to get into which thing you want to get into? You want to get into the most recent news with the Kamala Harris, or some Lebanon?
I mean,
they both have ties to Mossad, so of course it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, what doesn't? Wait, I think before we venture down into any conversation regarding Mossad in any way, I feel like we got the obligatory disclaimer that neither of us are currently feeling suicidal at the moment. Just so all of our listeners are fully aware of the healthy and positive mental states of everyone currently present. Before we delve down into these topics, let's just go ahead and say that real quick. I don't want to kill myself. I don't know about you guys, but
yeah.
I don't want to kill myself.
No, I do not want to kill myself. I love myself.
0 intent whatsoever. Zero intent.
None.
All right, cool. All right, there. For the public record.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, let's go. Kamala Harris, man. Let's go let's see what's up with that. That shit's all very. Was it yesterday? Very fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday they announced it in the afternoon.
And I think me and David were talking about how she kind of went in and protecting Ethan going down into Pizzagate as far as this child sex trafficking in California. She was the Attorney General of California. She's now the senator. So, and she has been pretty known for putting out a lot of laws such as the if your kid's not going to school, you either pay a $2,500 fine or a year in jail as a parent. Which, man, it only affected the poor and the sick.
Yeah, well, obviously, because first of all, if you're not poor and you're pretty wealthy, you can afford $2,500. It means nothing to you. Another reason is, rich kids tend to go to boarding schools, private schools, charter schools, and go, they have the access and the means to go to school. A lot more impoverished people don't have the access. So obviously that is targeting the poor and impoverished people in general. And actually, it's actually targeting single moms as well, because
Yeah.
if you have kids, you're a single mother trying to live, trying to work. Your kid, look, all kids at some point are a hassle. Okay, terrible toddlers to bad-mouthing teenagers to hormonal teenagers. Like, I grew up with 3 sisters. They were ridiculous. One of my sisters hated going to school. So everyone's a little different.
Mm-hmm. And like, it didn't. I don't know what the hell happened to the kids after when their parents went to jail. Get caught up in the foster system.
Which
and then,
parent goes to jail, or was it just single mothers that went to jail? Because I know the fathers went to jail for the marijuana charges.
Of her record as a prosecutor, and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
Dude, all bad. And like, she went about going and saying on Breakfast Club how she used to like listen to Tupac and smoke weed. And like the time she was saying she listened to Tupac didn't even have any music going out. So she wanted to, be cool with the black community.
Well, obviously she's trying to prove her blackness, when obviously dude, if you look at the debate with her and Biden, when not only did she go into Biden a lot about, him being for segregationists,
to hear you talk about the reputations of 2 United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
But she had the whole, I was that little girl that took the buses.
I was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
It just keeps on coming up, and like now more than ever, now that she's the VP, like there's going to be a constant amount of things being hidden, like through Google. And
well, I don't know about that. I feel like a lot more stuff will come to light.
You think?
Depends on what you follow. Like, obviously, if you Google her, they're gonna kind of do what Google does best, kind of bury it. Google likes to bury things.
The guy who bought Antifa.com, and he literally, some guy just paid for that domain because you can see who owns websites.
Yeah.
And he redirected it to JoeBiden.com.
So I'm guessing this was more of like a
troll. He was just trolling
a troll.
him.
Still,
yeah.
That's still funny. That's still
still pretty good.
It's fucking grade A shit. Oh, absolutely.
Well, here's another one. I don't know if they changed this one. If you go to DonaldTrump.com / and then just type in some random jumble, it will literally take you to Joe Biden.
That's pretty funny.
Oh yeah, dude, they got that trolling thing on lock as far as that presidential campaign. Like the Democratic campaigns want to be like Donald Trump as far as his trolling and his internet craze, and like the guy's a good marketer. He knows how to market itself. Like,
well,
can't knock it.
The amount of money he spends on, ads and marketing himself is nothing compared to what the Democrats are spending. If you look at it, 2016, he used that everyone hated him and he was always on CNN, MSNBC. That was part of his campaign strategy.
Mm-hmm.
They even say bad press is good press because it gets your names out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Kanye West is going to win 2020, guys.
Yeah, you never know. He's on the ticket.
No, he's already isn't he already getting in trouble for not really filing his paperwork or some shit? Like he's falsifying signatures on his those fucking things. I don't know. I read something like he's not he's just really just taking votes away from Biden,
Well, yeah, that's obviously why Republicans were helping him, and that's the whole point. It's anything you can do. This election is the no holds bar, throw him under the bus. It's doesn't matter how many people you walk all over, tear apart, and lives you ruin. This one is literally they're taking the gloves off. This one's,
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna get crazier. We're not even hitting the madness yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Kamala Harris, man. So she has a laundry list of issues and things she's done that's very questionable. She actually increased sentencing. And some say that the reason why she increased the sentencing of the sentences of certain people was because she said that it would hurt the workforce if they were to leave prison.
She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way. I am proud of that work.
So essentially you're creating a slave laborer or, prisoners with jobs, making license plates and BS, and not letting them back out on the streets or letting them get parole or letting them, have the hearings that they should to get out of prison. That's pretty bad in my book.
Mm-hmm.
But, she's a good cop, bad cop, or whatever you want, a cop.
Yeah, a lot of people pointing out the irony, they're all like, defund the police, let's just stop, defund the police or whatever, and then they put, like, a cop at the vice president, and it's just like, yeah, not quite what they were going for,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. You look at the two architects, basically Joe Biden being the person who put in place 3 strikes, you're out, and all sorts of other fucking really bad shit, and then Kamala being the enforcer of that type of these types of policies, and the two kind of, the two roles that they play in the mass incarceration of African Americans, and then the fact that they're trying to appeal to them as their biggest base, and people are buying it just because it's not Trump, like literally anything but, like they'll just fucking hook, line, and sinker. They're all fucking down for it,
Here's a question. Yeah. When was the last time a president or presidential candidate for the Democrats has gone to California?
For the Democrats, never.
They never go to California.
Yeah.
They don't need
automatic.
To because it's automatic. Because people automatically vote. So they don't spend much campaigning or ads. Yes, they'll send ads out there, and but they don't campaign because they don't need to campaign in California because they are just like, oh. It's like that girl in your phone that it's 3:00 in the morning and you're like, she'll answer, like, nah, it is like, it's like, girl, stand up for yourself and say no to this good D. Okay. Sometimes you got to say no. It's toxic, but that's how it is in California. Like, you don't have to because, and that's a flip side to, like, Republicans don't go there as much because it's almost a moot point to go there. You're only gonna spend useless dollars.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I've heard this from a few people in California and then a few podcasts. I heard there's not a lot of Biden stickers and Biden 2020. Or are they waiting for the VP pick? Anything in particular?
I think now you're gonna see it.
Now you're gonna see it because it has Harris on it.
Dude. Oh,
I'm in a county bubble. I can't really attest to much outside of that.
LA, there's gonna be Kamala Harris is like she's gonna look like Fidel Castro in LA, like the second coming, like type thing. Like, it's gonna
too
be
bad she's Hillary
posters.
too.
Yeah,
Hillary.
Exactly. But like again, she's got that black vote and like what ethnic, like she's Indian, blah blah.
Well, no,
like they're pulling all that out.
Two things I'm going to point out that they have not said. One, I've never heard an Indian person say, I'm South Asian. Have you ever heard that? The news keeps yelling, she's South Asian, she's Asian. Okay? Two, I've never heard a Jamaican go, I'm Jamaican African American. Right? I know Jamaicans. They say, I'm Jamaican. It's like a Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican doesn't go, I'm African, Puerto Rican, Latino, American, a little bit of European because I'm mixed. Nobody says it like that. Perfect example. Giannis. I can't say his last name. Yeah. I have not heard a commentator say the African American. You know why? He's Greek. He's from Greece. He's a Greek citizen. Born and raised. So they say the Greek, that young Greek.
Yeah.
They don't say that young African Greek American. No, they say the Greek. African Greek. Nobody says that.
Exactly, and like they keep pushing the BLM like on his jersey and all that, and I'm like, dude, this guy knows nothing of American culture. He came here when he was 18 to play ball, and Milwaukee's all he knows.
Yeah.
Besides going into the different cities he goes and plays ball in, like they're race baiting at this point. Like they know what they're doing. They're trying to get the Filipino voters out. They're trying to get any like people that are just scared of Trump.
That's why they keep calling her Asian. George, can you move your head for 2 seconds lower? Low, all like down, all off the screen.
Off the screen.
Okay. They are the same color at the moment. George, I'm trying to prove a point. You have Kamala Harris.
Okay.
They're like almost the same shade. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, we know that you're part Egyptian, which is North African, George. So you can say that you are African.
Finally.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm super proud of
Go
that.
to politics.
I can't jump very well, but you know, at least I got the numbers. You know.
Yeah, there you go.
It's more than Elizabeth Warren, her being Native American. So.
Hey. Kamala Harris was that little girl. So you have this Hillary Part 2, who's obviously, when they say jump, she jumps. When they say run, she runs. When they say swallow, she swallows. Like, she is literally the perfect candidate for them because she is kind of a bitch. Let's be honest. She gets very fake emotional where she goes, I care so much. She doesn't care. No politician really cares. I don't care if you think Trump, Biden, none of them really care, okay, about you. But she's so fake at it. But the reason why Biden picked her was because A, she's part Indian, which they can spin that she's part Asian, meaning they can get that vote. She's part black, even she's Jamaican, but she can get the African American vote, even though they have nothing in common other than maybe a couple 100 years ago. And she's a bitch, but you can't call her one to her face because that's being sexist and racist to the most groundbreaking, inspirational, newest, she broke everything. She's the most amazing. You should read. Go on Twitter.
She broke barriers.
She is literally the newest, craziest thing to happen to VP that is ethnic.
She's gonna have her own Barbie.
But hey, let me ask you something. You're telling me there's never been like a libertarian or independent that was a person of color that's ever been a VP pick or a presidential candidate? But no, they don't matter because even if there were or wasn't, they don't matter, and you don't know this, and you'd have to look it up because you don't know about that because they're always a second thought to the two-party system because again, it's only the two-party system.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear though? October 18th? No, 8th?
September 17th.
No. Early October. I'm just gonna go with early October. They're gonna do a debate between the VP debate. So if they're having a VP debate, which obviously they know that she's gonna be pull out the guns against Pence, she's gonna be cutting them hard. They're gonna be saying some hard, very, very cut deep things. But that means Trump and Biden need to have a debate.
Yeah.
And they think having someone who can talk shit, essentially, and cut deep, and you can't say anything back to her, will outweigh what Trump is going to do to Biden in the debates.
Yeah, I think Tulsi Gabbard laid down the law as far as what Pence can say to her. So that's possible. Like, David, do you know anything of as far as like Pizzagate, like what she did to cover up that type
it
of?
was just the thing that I came across yesterday, which was whoever her predecessor was in her as the DA in San Francisco had files on clergy members who had committed sexual assault against their clergy, and she deprived the victims of that information. Like, she stopped cooperating with the victims who were trying to file charges against priests. She essentially deprived them of evidence that would help their investigation and then press charges against them. So she shielded pedophiles, kids. She stopped with kids who got raped, and instead protected their assaulters, rapists. Also priests. Also priests.
Yeah. So wait, let me get this straight. You had a cop help bury evidence for the most powerful syndicate of pedophiles called the clergy, priests, and the Catholic Church. So the two things that BLM hate the most, she helped, and what everyone else hates is pedophilia. That's kind of crazy in my book that she kind of got away with that.
Dude, the protection of pedophiles in this whole entire thing is pretty ridiculous.
Thing, like every little thing involves some yeah, bro. Like that's the weirdest shit. You just look in so many different aspects of seemingly separate aspects of society, and there's you go high enough up, somebody's fucking kids.
Well, did you notice that I haven't seen one thing about Bill Gates' evidence coming out, or not Bill Gates, sorry, Bill Clinton's evidence coming out?
Oh, nothing.
Nothing.
Actually,
he's speaking of
5
the
minutes.
DNC thing.
Yeah, he's going to the DNC. 5 minutes after she got the pick, he posted, "Oh my God, this is so great. I'm so happy she's going to be there." You know why he posted that? Because he's like, "Oh my God, we have a chance to not get caught. If she gets in, because she actually has a good chance to win, we're scot-free."
You have Ghislaine's off suicide watch right now too.
Well,
so,
dude, honestly, I was listening to the live Sam Tripoli, and the woman from the propaganda report, she thinks Ghislaine Maxwell's dead. The reason why she said it is because, one, there hasn't been one actual picture of her being arrested. When Epstein was there's pictures everywhere, him getting pulled out, being arrested, him in court, everywhere, him in jail, his mugshot, not one of her. They keep having, they've had sketches, but she said you could always have someone who's a lookalike or just a falsified sketch. And she's either dead already or just not in there. And they're just kind of putting information out. And she's either not arrested, and she's long gone somewhere, or she's dead. The lady from the propaganda report said she thinks she's been dead since the picture of her eating In-N-Out came out. Because that was an old picture, apparently. That wasn't a recent picture. That was 2 years earlier. And she said that, when she was doing, investigative journalism, that has happened already when they killed somebody. They're putting out pictures, and they had pretty much a stockpile of pictures to pretend they're alive for at least a few months.
No, I totally get that. As far as Kamala, going back to Kamala, not even 24 hours later, already CNN was talking about how cognitively challenged Joe Biden will, and how he'll step aside to make Kamala Harris president, and going back into Clinton wanting her to be president, he'll get pardoned if anything does come up, or he'll know he'll get covered up in general. So,
I saw something that. So do you guys remember not too long ago where Pelosi said that she was second in line?
Yeah.
You guys remember that, right? That happened. So then I read some shit that tied that to Kamala being a naturalized citizen, which makes her ineligible to be president. So putting her at second in line, should Joe Biden fail, would mean that Nancy Pelosi would potentially be president, as being the third person, officially the third person. The person who's second is technically ineligible due to not being a soil-born U.S. citizen. That the presidency would fall potentially to Nancy Pelosi. That's just a conspiracy.
She's looking just as bad as Biden.
Oh, without a doubt. Mentally, cognitively, of course. They both mumble and have that old person fucking stammer.
Yeah, their teeth are falling out. Her eyes are twitching.
Oh, dude.
Today I saw her eyes were twitching when she's got crazy eyes.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, something about, actually, it's going back to another conspiracy I heard was, which I haven't been able to dig up exactly. I've talked to a few people. They said that's untrue. But again, I need things to prove if it's true or not. Someone was saying if Trump decides to go to court, or if Biden goes to court about the vote and mail-in issue, right? And it goes past the inauguration date, they are allowed to ask Trump to be removed and until they figure it out. Now, someone told me, well, no, Trump would remain in power until the court is done. Someone else said, well, no, Nancy Pelosi would step in and do the executive branch. Now, again, I would have to kind of look up. This is stuff that judges and, the Supreme Court argue over. So this is something I don't know personally, but these are two different opinions someone told me. So, or a couple of people told me. So that is another conspiracy that what they're doing is they're trying to make the mail-in vote fail. And, obviously you have General Milley, I think it's General Milley, talking about, essentially if Trump doesn't leave, he will back the Democrats to force Trump out. Because they're pushing, okay, why are they pushing this narrative? Pardon?
He said that on TV?
He wrote a letter.
Oh.
Yeah, you can look it up. I think it was on CNN. They reported it. So this is my biggest problem. You have Maddow, you have Lemon, Don Lemon. You have Cuomo. You have just the usual suspects trying to push this scare tactic narrative that Trump will not leave and we will have to send in the military to forcibly remove him because he will not accept defeat, right? That's
Orange Man. Bad.
Orange Man. He's a bad guy.
Orange Man. So bad.
But then you look at a lot of the military and a lot of the police unions, the military, a lot of different generals are actually in favor of Trump. They like Trump.
Yeah.
They actually but they keep pushing this narrative, getting more and more Republicans on it, Democrats, and military officials that Trump will not leave office. And so they're setting up that they know they're going to lose, and they're going to try to go to court or something. There's some...
Like a soft coup?
Yeah, there must be... They've already tried to commit a soft coup with the whole investigations. They keep saying that this whole Obamagate is bullshit, but...
Yeah.
The Steele dossier was bullshit. It was paid for by another candidate.
Jim Acosta said it was fake.
Mitt Romney is one of the... it's legal in California, just to let all our viewers know. So Mitt Romney apparently is one of the Republicans that's denying the subpoena and blocking the subpoena for Comey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's kind of... It's very weird that these old Republicans and Democrats are working together to kind of let's stop the Orange Man bad, Again...
Which paints a picture of it being, old school establishment where they all are in a kid fucking club, red and, Republican and Democrat, versus outsider who, trust me, I'm not a Trump guy, I'm not a Q guy, I'm not fucking none of that shit, but what if he really is doing some shit to just dismantle these pedophile rings, and then old school politicians on both sides of the aisle that have been involved or turning a blind eye or in some way benefiting or anything like that are legit worried and scared and the enemy of my enemy is my friend type thing,
Well, we all know that the whole dance of the right and left is just the bird flapping its wings, right? That's all it is. It's you prop up, you push down. It's a dance, and it's a fake dance. Most of them work together. It was just as many R's as D's that helped the Patriot Act go through.
Yeah.
And obviously, at the end of the day, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. And they are in cahoots in a lot of reasons. And, if they can both make money off it, they're going to help each other. And you need this constant battle. And then you throw someone in who's Trump, who, yeah, he's not the nicest guy. He doesn't have the cleanest past.
He's not as eloquent.
He's not as eloquent.
Like everyone's like, "Oh, Obama, you're so eloquent," but it's like, "Yo, he did some fucked up shit too."
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's how he hid. He hid behind the smile. What we need to do is bomb the children of Yemen. So, yeah. And you have Bernie Sanders. I never heard this. No. Okay. So you have this old guard that has been in politics. Let me tell you something. Like, look at all the people that hate Trump, and if you count in how many years they've been in politics, it adds up to like 10 times what the U.S. is. Okay, it's been around, right? Like, you have people like Biden 40 years. Okay, you have people like Pelosi, Schumer, Nader. You have the people, which again, I keep saying Schumer is, or no, yeah, Schumer is the one who's pushing out him and the other one. Gosh, I just forgot his name. Schiff. I think Schiff is the leak in the intelligence agency, by the way. And obviously, you work with the intelligence agencies. You've kept a blind eye for years to what the CIA is doing. You've all been around since literally past all the presidents. Like,
Schiff's a pedophile.
You know, oh yeah.
I'm calling
he
it.
literally looks like a little, like, those little puppets. Ventriloquist puppet. He's creepy.
You can just sometimes tell, like, that dude does something with children.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, you can say judge a book by its cover, but sometimes it's just clear as day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry. Like,
Ooh, I have a question for you guys. So let's go kind of back to politics. What do you think about the payroll tax cuts that Trump says he's going to get rid of next year?
I mean,
Yep.
it's like that just seems, the timing of it just seems so just like fucking carrot on a stick for the masses, you know, like well, get me to next year, and you know,
well,
fucking tax guy, like, he just hangs it over you, but it's like you never get it.
Politics always, like, you know.
Yeah, but like it's so blatant.
Yeah.
Like, it's so blatant. Like, oh, I'm gonna cut your payroll tax. Like, how will things work? I mean, I don't know. I just don't know.
So I know, like, a lot of people are like mad because they're saying, "Oh, my Social Security, you're gonna take money from my Social Security." Well, first of all, you pay the people before. Essentially, we're paying Social Security, and they've been saying this. Economic people like economic specialists and people that understand this have been arguing since I was a child that we're not getting our Social Security. You're paying into nothing. We're paying for the boomers to keep theirs. That's essentially what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think he already realizes Social Security's out. It's bankrupt. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like they're going to do a different form. He's saying that they're not going to be doing it through payroll taxes. Now, it doesn't save that much money per person. I think it's a couple thousand for the average person a year. But I'm all for less taxes. Like, I
think you might be like trying to look at ways to offset, you know, obviously, like, with all of the unemployment going on and all them just cutting checks for everybody, it's going to have an effect on, you know, the money supply, so therefore inflation. So prices are going to be going up. So he's going to look for ways as, like, because, you know, they all just see us as like consumers in some regard, pluses or minuses and exchanges, right? So so if we're all inherently paying a little bit more on every single thing that we buy every day, all day, throughout the day, I having the slightest savings and feeling like we're taking home just a little bit more by a reduction in payroll tax is a way for us to not all collectively lose our fucking shit and be like, yo, like, our currency has been devalued to fucking shit. It's worthless. Like, nothing's, you know, like the cost of living is going to skyrocket just in purchasing and the diminished purchasing power of your everyday goods and services. You know what I'm saying? Everything's going to go up accordingly just because, you know, the fucking guy in the White House can decree that. I mean, trust me, it is beneficial. It does help people in the immediate sense to cover their ends, but at the same time, like, long-term repercussions is how you're going to end up with, like, you know, having to go to the grocery store with a fucking rubber band stack of fucking 10s to buy a loaf of bread, you know, because paper itself has become so devalued and so, like, they run out of Bank of America was saying their mobile ATMs were running out of physical paper currency, and they were telling people to come back.
I actually heard about that. Even in Phoenix, I have a friend that she said she had to go to a fifth bank, and only one bank in all of Phoenix was actually able to give you cash. The rest said we're not allowed. And I've had every single time I try to freaking put money in, transfer money non-digitally, it's saying we're not taking money, but there's no way to go. There's no tellers. So I have to either hold on to my cash, or I have to try to find another bank that's taking money and or giving.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's just...
They're trying to... I think
So?
two things are happening. They're trying to push away from cash, right? They're trying to go cashless. And two, it is a problem that we are going to start seeing in inflation. So they're going to try to go off, remove the petrodollar, and create a new currency that the U.S. And I think the reason why they're trying to do this whole USMC is that they're going to try to create not just a currency of America, but our hemisphere currency. Make them and us be based off a similar currency because of our trade, and then go to war. Because if you make Canada and Mexico reliant on America, right, you can't lose America anymore.
That's the thing, is I don't think they would sign on, though. I think they'd both be just like, fucking suck our dick.
Mexico has been signing on. They need our help. They're asking with help for the cartels. Our last episode we were talking about, there's literally wars going on among different cartels and the Mexican government. And guess who's winning? Not the government. The government's not winning. They're losing.
Videos, man. Those are some gnarly fucking troops out there.
They don't have the weaponry or the capability or the money. You have to understand, these cartels have more money than their whole government. So now Canada would be the kind of the harder one, but then we could just tell Canada to F off, and we're not going to help them. We're not going to trade aluminum with them because we trade aluminum with them. And, Canada's, again, that's like, people like to pretend that Canada is all super nice, eh? Like, you're so sorry, eh?
Like
but
closing the border to citizens, like U.S. citizens.
Yeah, but I don't know if you know this, but Canada has been in every single war we've been in. Here's a little fun fact about Canada. If we send troops, guess who sends troops? Canada. Canada has been around the world with us. Canadian troops have been in every country we've been in. So they send a little bit of troops, and they just are like, oh, hey, we're helping. We speak English, but those are American troops. That's why they speak English. But they're always being sent to war with us. So again, with this whole pushback, there might be an issue, but I don't know, man. Here's another question. Let's get into this. What do you think about the intelligence saying that Russia wants Trump to win, and and Iran wants Biden to win?
I mean, my thing is like, what's the one group of individuals that may or may not be saying both of those statements?
Well, obviously it's their intelligence agencies saying this.
Yeah. I would, if you want to look into how, like, again, this is kind of goes hand in hand with the not suicidal statement disclaimer. It's like, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm just saying there may or may not be a disproportionate amount of control relative to population size with a certain ethnic or non-ethnic religious group without naming anything. Like, that's all it is. It's not so much like without even saying anything. It's like, if you're a very small population, you're from a very small population of people on the planet, and you happen to be just in all of the top fucking circles of, first off, entertainment, second off, banking, second off, finance, media, and then, you even go in to say that there may be mass infiltration of, a certain
make weapons.
Semi-Middle Eastern country that the U.S. sends billions of dollars to annually, may or may not have infiltrated every intelligence agency in our country itself, and is able to kind of steer where investigations should or should not go in order to further protect their interests without naming any names of any specificity, like if you were to see that kind of control that actually takes place and exerted, would you not see that any statements?
Did you just say Nazi?
I specifically said nothing at all, like nothing.
No, I'm kidding.
But if you were to see proof of high-level individuals and in certain places, and also proof of infiltration by a certain country into intelligence agencies, would you believe what these mouthpiece agencies would be telling you in regards to like who the actual culprit of intervention would be? What foreign power is truly intervening in our elections, if it's not this small population of people who have infiltrated our intelligence agencies and are feeding us a different dialogue, different story, different story, different, being it like they're telling us it's Russians and Iranians, but it's like not. But AIPAC is a thing, and everyone needs to get approved by AIPAC to be like a presidential candidate. And then we're not gonna. That's like a different country, Israel. Like you're not gonna discuss how that's like blatant, like manipulation and like, intervention by a foreign power. Like how is that a thing? Without even, I don't know. It's just crazy.
So you're saying that there is a fourth country that intervenes in every election?
Yes.
And they're the ones that actually have the more pull than anybody. Because, I'm sorry,
yes.
I'm going to be honest. A poorly worded Russian ad that says, Trump is good, yeah. I like
Russian
Trump.
bots on Twitter, like Russian Twitter bots are what's swaying everybody. Everyone's just like, yo, what? These Russian bots are spitting truth, man. I'm fucking on board. Like, fuck America.
That's, come on.
No.
That's a little, like when I used to laugh because, it's funny, when I lived in California in the 2016 election, and I never once saw a Russian bot or a Russian ad for Trump. It was all Hillary. It was like, Hillary's the best person on earth. She never killed anybody. She came, she saw, she killed, but God damn it, it's okay. Yeah. Actually, that brings me, it was pretty funny. I saw an article saying that, actually I got a lot of retweets on this one. CNN was talking about Libya is in a civil war right now. Wonder why? Like,
yeah,
I posted, we came, we saw, he died. Ha ha ha. Like,
that was gnarly, bro. That laugh just gave me chills. Like, and he died very gruesomely. Like, knife bayonet up the ass, and you look into like the real shit he did for the Libyan people, and like obviously like the massive decline and how things are going. And it's like, yo, they have open air slave markets, but like, didn't he like? He gave like every newlywed couple like $40,000 for a house payment or some fucking shit, and like
he lived a lot of great things.
Yeah,
same with the Saddam Hussein, bro. They were just breaking down the Middle East.
Oh, 100%.
Well,
like,
Saddam Hussein was important for one reason.
Man.
He kept the Middle East in check. Those certain people, that one region you were talking about, they couldn't do as much as they wanted because, or Iran couldn't do as much as they wanted because he actually kept them all in check. He was the only thing keeping any balance in the Middle East. And then once he fell, see how easy it was for the West to literally collapse every major country and leader that was trying to go against the petrodollar, and we're not in the interest of two countries, Saudi and Israel. Okay, so those we'll pronounce it like that just in case, because I do not want to kill myself. And so it's kind of weird that it's like we paint these pictures of like who the baddies are, but at the end of the day, let's be honest. Yes, Russian bots, Chinese bots, and bullshit CIA, deep state, Israel-influenced propaganda convinces people. Let's be honest. You know why it does? Because that's why we went to war in the Middle East. That's why after 9/11, we're still, from 9/11 to now, in Afghanistan. And when people like Senator Paul try to get us out, they say no.
Yeah, it was McCain's wife that pushed for to tell him, because she's still super plugged into Raytheon and all these different contract workers that are still out there making money off selling weapons. So she doesn't want to lose that money, man. And a lot of people are super involved in it. I mean, Israel's super involved in it. They want the Middle East to go down. They want us to go into Iran at this point.
Well, I think there's a few reasons. One, they don't want to have a war again. They don't want to have to fight their own fight. Because if we pulled out all our influence from the Middle East, and stop arming and giving money to Israel and Saudi Arabia, I'm pretty sure in 10 years it would take for those two countries to be gone. Easy.
And
You
I
keep
think
the tribes fighting and the people's fighting.
Yeah.
They keep their eyes away. It's the same smoke and mirror. Dude, it always comes down to the deep state, whoever you want to think they are. They do this, well, they're doing this. Okay? Smoke and mirrors. They hand you something, well, they're robbing you. They feed you, well, they stab you. They're literally smoke and mirrors. Misdirection. Always.
All right, but we are living in this self-made revelations as far as Europe crashing due to the amount of Muslims going into Europe and kind of fucking that. Again, not like going after religion and like not being anti-Semite, but Israel's been a part of that whole entire thing, is trying to crash Europe.
Yeah, I came across some in the deep, like a late night internet perusing, like on Reddit or some bullshit. There's like this crazy. I was just reading it. I don't know if it's true or not. Like I don't even know. Like I couldn't weigh in on the authenticity of everything. Basically, it kind of was just like there's 7 steps and 7 thought processes that every person kind of goes through. And at the beginning of this scale, it's like, you know, you kind of question a little bit of, you know, the Israeli connection and current events, right? And you're just like, okay, what's going on? And, you know, at some point you question the victimhood stuff, and then before you, I don't even know if this is true or not. I'm just saying 100%. It's a thing I read online. Thought it was sounding kind of crazy. Who knows? I don't fucking know. It says at the end of the 7 steps is like where you kind of come to the conclusion based on the evidence presented that the Holocaust may or may not have happened, and that the entire thing is just like there's been historical accounts of constant stories of painting the victim, you know, like constantly throughout history they're the victim, but they're really maybe more or less may not be behind some of the really bad shit, you know. And it's like this guy like points to historical documents, like I guess you know, the Egyptians never enslaved them, and Egypt built the pyramids, right? I don't think anyone looks at pyramids. I figure aliens more likely than Israelites, unless they're one and the same.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of arguments that they were actually paid. Like, no one that was being whipped would make something so great.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, like, that's the premise, is just like, you know, there's a lot of victimhood stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that may or may not have come to light, and I guess revisionism, right? I guess Holocaust revisionism is kind of what this kind of falls under. That there may be some secondary, you know, primary source evidence that can be used to examine what they're telling us, and then it's like, well, why is this enormous masquerade going on to paint this victim in the present day, and to kind of revert to that every time there's an attack on stuff? It's because they're the ones carrying out the crazy ulterior motives of like the ruling Rothschild plant, you know. So they need that social immunity from everybody, you know, to use that to continue to carry out, you know, what the fucking plan is from thousands of years ago, you know, that these bloodlines have been and working on this entire time, which is more or less probably like the Saturn time cube, but we'll get into that later. But
yeah.
Well, I've heard that, I've heard the argument that it's like they're not technically Jewish people doing this; they're just riding on the tail of saying or a veil of Judaism. Like, these people aren't Jewish, they're not Muslim, they're not Christian. They just hide behind the people, and then they sway masses of people saying, we're like each other, look, we're the same religion, do this for me, when it's actually not that. It's really a group of people that are just hiding behind the veil of different religions. Being
what I believe is probably the cult of Saturn, right? The cult of Saturn worship is why at the very end of the day, like, if you look at all the occult references to the planet Saturn and the black cube of Saturn, and all the symbology that you find in different religions that pertain to like the black cube of Saturn, like at the end of that's what it is. It's not like a Judaism thing. It's not a Jewish thing at all. It's like, you know, these people are like Saturnalian in religion, and they're like, it's a secret occult mystery religion that the big fucking club, and you're not in it. You know, you're not welcome to join the ranks of the Saturnalian individuals that praise to Saturn. So yeah, that's what they're carrying out. You know, and that's what the will of Saturn, the black cube, the artificial intelligence from another dimension that has been plotting and scheming they say it's like negative energy that is absolutely focused on hybridizing biological life matter with like silicon-based life matter, like machines. You know, like that's what thing has been done for this whole time. Is they create that separation from humans and the actual universe. You know, that we're all kind of in tune in with our pineal gland and all that shit. And the long agenda has always been to separate us from the universe by suffocating our pineal gland and then eventually hybridizing us with the machine itself. So the only connection we feel is going to be like some sort of psychic internet between all of us, but it's really just going to be like the modems in our brain connecting our thoughts instead of like any kind of universal oneness that creates like a telepathy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the alternative to that. Sorry, that was a rant.
No,
yeah, like it. Pull away from what makes us human and higher than just an animal. And but they believe that infusing us with silicon or creating a hybrid with like a cyborg type hybrid or putting your brain or conscious into something is more advanced. But at the end of the day, like us being connected with beyond what we are in this physical realm, it's actually more. But that also goes back to the argument that they're not like us. They're not connected like us. They are lower, dark energy, low energy beings that, you know, they can't connect like us. They can't do what we can do. You know, they don't have that spiritual touch.
Yeah.
Connection.
I think this is a perfect segue to Lebanon and how that was almost like a human sacrifice for this like Saturnalium like people.
Yeah,
like
there's some
black.
shit going on in August, man. August is some fucking shit. Like
started with a
shit ton of
blast.
explosions here, right?
Literally.
Yeah, but then if you look back historically, like the Hiroshima and Nagasaki nuclear explosions took place in August as well. Like there's a lot. It's weird. Some fucking you know, I'm always cruising random conspiracy forums, but like some random person connected the dots to like a lot of like really big explosions and like things like
Fires.
Yeah, fires and really destructive events tend to take place during August. If you just, I mean, obviously that's fire season as well, but like absent that, like giant explosions and shit, like Nagasaki and Hiroshima took place in like August, I think. Look that up real quick.
No, I know we did just have the anniversary. Like either.
Yeah, August 6th to August 9th was here.
Yeah, putting up that flag, like that was a big anniversary. Yeah, you're right, Darius.
Yeah, bro. August is like some weird shit. Or whatever, I guess there's something with August. A cult, you know?
People usually born in August are a little like cracky, so it makes sense. But yeah, like, alright, going into Lebanon, do you think it was just coincidence? Do you think it was just a drone strike? Do you think it was maybe a cloak, like
subsonic,
cloak and dagger
supersonic
type? Yeah, direct energy weapon. Like
so. You can go. I was gonna say, like, I feel like they first hit it with a dew, right, and that's what caused the initial explosion, but it didn't blow everything, so they hit it with a supersonic missile.
I think it was like a little bomb or something. Yeah, some little drone dropped a little fucking missile payload. Like tactical, like nuke explosion, whatever it would be. It's probably something like this big.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
tiny.
The reason why I think it was due at first is because there was small explosives. That's why people go, oh, it's a fireworks. But also bullets explode, right? It's gunpowder, but gunpowder is explosive. They're little tiny, you know, if you look closely, and small explosives. So I feel like they could be hitting it with a dew, right? Because you can't see it. You can't see a dew. You can't see the direct energy. And they're heating the explosives, right? Trying to blow it up. But guess what happens? It doesn't go. And I was telling George that we have, and Israel has, and Israel's known for and gets in trouble a lot, they have bunker buster missiles that are nuclear tipped missiles that aren't as powerful. They're not like these, you know, they're not like atomic bombs. They're just super powerful missiles that they strike, and they are just a mini nuke essentially. They're bunker busters. They're supposed. And then if you go into how George was saying that they found tunnels underneath the rubble,
labyrinth.
So that actually kind of reinforces my idea that they weren't trying to just hit the weapons. They were trying to get into the labyrinth and blow the labyrinth.
feel that kind of released some sort of energy into the world? Like a horseman, possibly?
The real horseman shit is gonna be all the crazy microbes that become unearthed when the permafrost thaws out in like Siberia. Like they're fucking finding some gnarly fucking shit, bro. Like bubonic plague and stuff. Like really bad shit. Cause like the shit that's been frozen for like thousands and thousands of years.
That we're no longer accustomed or able
we
to.
have no immunology, like nothing immune to this whatsoever because it hasn't been around for forever, and like it's coming out, and like we're just gonna get wiped out from all that.
Weird question. Could you say there is almost like a benevolence to this Cuba-Saturnism? So, say that they're trying. So they know that the human race is too frail, right? They're too weak. At the end of the day, we're smart, but we're not powerful. We can survive a lot, but we're not going to survive everything. Do you think that there's two maybe reasons what they're trying to do is one, either trigger an evolution with all this mayhem, catastrophe, and what's happening next, with all the things that they, more and more viruses, manipulation, vaccines, all this stuff, try to trigger our natural evolution system and nature, or by making us into cyborg or connected beyond our human form, to make it so humans can survive beyond, because they understand and know that there will be a type of Armageddon or bubonic plague or something that will wipe out the humans.
So I'll probably look at this in a glass half full type of scenario where maybe this Great Awakening thing is real and aliens will come and give us free energy, and things will be all chill as fuck, and people will go on into a new evolution stage as far as consciousness, blah blah. But I know people, and I know they're not that smart, or I know a lot of them that won't think of that, don't even think that way. So there's that type of energy in the world, that low energy that's bringing us down.
George, you forget, you are the energy. You are the energy source when the aliens come. I'm just kidding. They're not bringing you an energy source. You are the source.
Well, Neuralink should be coming soon, and that should be interesting as far as putting a computer in your brain. What is that going to lead to?
That is what everything leads to. That's like the end of the road right there. Like that is it. Like it doesn't, like everything else will just be an upgrade past merging a fucking computer with your brain. It's just new bells and whistles on your fucking brain already being like. But I guess we technically already are, so it's like. But I don't know. Dude, so many things to opt out of in the fucking future, man. Forced vaccines. Like, how do you guys feel about like forced vaccinations? Like, I don't know. Like, what's your view on that? I feel like that's something that's going to be down the horizon. We're all going to have to make a decision sooner or later how we really feel. Because I don't do anything I'm saying. But what do you guys think? Should that time come?
So I don't know. There's like this again, going back to, is Orange Man bad? Is he not bad? Because is he a part of the smoke and mirrors? Right? Is this always just another head of the Hydra beast of Saturn? What is this? Because you have Fauci that's kind of saying, oh well, we're gonna have to have a COVID pass and a vaccination pass. Then you have was it Yale or Stanford doing the study?
Yeah.
Yale
study about how to get people to take vaccinations. But then you have, Trump saying he prefers therapeutics. And he has said that every single time he has spoken about the vaccine. He says, we're doing vaccines, but I prefer therapeutics. Now, again, it's one of two things. It's either he doesn't really want the vaccines, or it's not that he doesn't want them, that he has to play ball, because if you don't make the vaccine and the world makes the vaccine, you lose out on money, and people say, look it, Orange Man wants people to die because he doesn't want a vaccine. So you have to play that ball. But then he says, okay, but I want, therapeutics as well. Or it's all a show, and no matter what, it's vaccines, even though he keeps saying he wants therapeutics. Now, that's the problem. You don't know because, again, this is all comes down to when it's the end. Like, will he if he retains presidency, will he push the vaccine? Or will he stay true and say that he will, it's vaccine or therapeutic?
I saw some Q-tard. I never put too much faith in this, so I hate to even regurgitate it, to be honest. It was some Q-tard shit where they're like, the part of the plan is they couldn't put into effect the rushed approval process for a vaccine if there's already a documented cure on the books, i.e. hydrochloroquine, right? So they couldn't rush the creation of some bullshit vaccine if they could prove that already works. So his warp speed vaccine push is really just going to be allegedly hydrochloroquine. Like, that's what his vaccine is that he plans on pushing out and having the military mobilize really quickly. Allegedly, it will be hydrochloroquine, according to some Trump chart. Fucking shit.
See, I don't know. I don't like to follow Q. And the problem is Q and the truthers kind of merge a lot. So people think we're the same. But just because we have the same information doesn't mean everything we believe is the same.
I feel like Q is like fake woke. It's like you're like, I don't know. You probably still vote. You know?
Right.
Like,
do you know what I call it? Do you know what I call it? So there's people that are woke.
Yeah.
And there's people that have been awakened.
Yeah.
Woke people are fake woke. Like the fake woke. Like, oh, I love Q. Oh, I love this. But I love BLM. Or I care about people. I'm a vegan. Like, that's woke. Yeah. Then there's people awakened that are like, I see it all as bad, but I can also see the beauty. So like you could see all of it. And being woke, you're still that narrow-minded, but you see some, but you're narrow-minded. This is for a listener, Justin Wolcott. No offense, but you're not awakened yet. You're getting there, but you're still on the woke side, my man. Keep listening. I know you're listening to this. Well, once it comes out. But honestly, and it's nothing bad. Like, I don't think being woke is the bad thing, but the problem is you're playing into the sides. You're playing into one side, and you always take a side. And to be awakened is to be centered and to realize it's gray. You take the bad and you take the good. There is both. There is a symbiotic relationship. The black and the white mix, and then you are gray.
Yeah, like the yin yang, good and the bad and the bad and the good and the bad,
You have to. It's just how it is. So, with the warp speed, I know this is the thing. You have one side saying he's mobilizing the military to gain superpower and to create martial law and force vaccination. Then you have the other side saying, well, we don't have the infrastructure, the people, or anything to do anything. And would you rather have the military killing random little fucking brown people around the world, or would you rather have the military here back in the U.S.?
Yeah.
It could be a way to say, hey, I'm pulling troops out of parts of the world because I need the military to help us here. Now, again, could that go into martial law? Or could that go into, I'm just pulling him? And then going back to General O'Malley, some generals do say they will kick him out and they will, court-martial him, and they will arrest him. Now, this is my issue. If that happens, we will see a civil war. There is
most definitely
a possibility, and I'm not trying to fearmonger like the news, that there will be fighting and it will not be pretty. Because at one point, will these people that... Because there are the psycho Trump supporters and the psycho Qs. And there are the psycho BLM people and the psycho radical left. There's a psycho every type of person, But at what point do people say it's enough? Like right now, I can see right now on the right, they're really rallying saying Biden and Harris are going to take our guns. Every gun shop
100%.
Twitter is posting that they're going to take forcefully, because they call it a buyback program, but it's called a forceful buyback program. We'll force them to buy. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, it's literally like, what? Like, no, it's not. That means you're confiscating weapons and giving us.
It sucks that when it sucks so bad you lost your rifle on that fishing trip you went on, bro. Like, yeah. I feel so bad. I'm still sad when you told me that fell over the boat.
It fell on the boat and the river took it, but whatever, man. My handgun was with it too.
You gotta live and learn, bro. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah, dude. My guns were in all one duffel bag, and they just got
And
shredded. They hit rocks, broke into pieces. I don't know what happened, man. So, I know yours was thrown into the ocean, so some shark might have it. I think a shark pulled it from you.
Ripped from my hands when I was boogie boarding with it.
Oh. You know, the bunt is really good. The stock is a really good.
But I was duped. Exactly.
Yeah.
Very light polymer stock, dude. It's practically a fucking paddle.
Yeah, exactly.
I was using my Moissananga to go paddle surfing. Perfect.
I thought you were javeling with it, and it went off the cliff.
Javelin.
But
Yeah, no, they're for sure coming for guns.
yeah, so again, and what scares me is this. I know neither side is great, but I know what happens when certain thing in history, because I love history, and not to toot my own horn or, but I'm somewhat of a history buff. And anybody who knows any history knows that once they take it all, you don't have a gun to protect yourself, or you have no way to say, no, I don't want this vaccination. No, I don't want this Neuralink. No, I don't want these cyborg parts. No, I don't want, forced sterilization. No, I don't want to go into this train. No, I do not want to go into this fucking, slave center, this FEMA camp. A lot of people say, oh, well, what's your AR going to do against a tank?
I only need one bullet for me, motherfucker.
Yeah. My favorite thing is if you go back to, I was watching Starship Troopers recently, and he's like, sir, why are we learning how to throw knives? We used nukes. And he's like, put your hand out. And he throws the fucking knife through his hand, and he's like, see, try to hit the nuclear button now. And he's like, disable the hand, disable the nuke, But at the end of the day, if you watch Red Dawn, if you watch anything, guerrilla warfare, America started guerrilla warfare. The English army was way bigger than, the Minutemen and the militia. They were kicking our ass. We lost more battles in the Revolutionary War than won, and we still won. Why? Because we use guerrilla tactics. Because, yes, I can't fight a tank head on, but I can make improvised explosives. I can fight. You can hit them off guard. You can defend yourself. You have a better chance. I watched a video the other day of, I don't know where it was. It was either, I don't want to name a city because I feel like I know where it was, but this guy pulled a gun on his, girlfriend was with another guy. And the dude gets his gun out of the car, and the dude has, a small rifle, and it looks like a pistol-style rifle, and it's like someone's, filming it. The guy is like, let's talk about it, and he's, walking away. He puts his gun on the ground and says, let's talk, kind of,
Oh, bro, that was so dumb.
And then the dude turns around and starts shooting him, and he goes for the gun, and the guy just comes straight into his head and blows his fucking brains out and kills him. That's a metaphor for what's going to happen to you, people.
Yeah.
Okay? Because one gun was bigger, but at least the guy with the rifle wasn't going to do anything against the guy with the handgun. But once the handgun, which is a smaller caliber, smaller weapon, less rounds, was put on the ground, now you have no defenses, so you have no way to stop it. And he died for it. He died right there. Because, again, that's the same thing. Just because they say they're going to do good...
That's real right there.
Just because... What?
Great metaphor. That's fucking real.
But that's how it is. Just because someone says they're going to do good, they're benevolent, and they're going to help you, that doesn't mean they are. There is no savior. Okay? If you're a Christian, your savior already came and he's gone. There's a lot of other people, like the Muslims and fucking, everyone's still waiting for their savior. I'm not saying there's no divine, I'm not saying there's no God, but there is no savior that's a human being. No human, none of these political people are your savior. And if you act like you're their savior, you're going to lose your mind, and you're going to lose your rights, and it's only going to get worse for you.
And it's like, duh, yeah, no, absolutely.
Did you guys ever follow or hear of Dylan Wheeler educating liberals? He was a huge Q guy.
Yeah.
So
he switched to
this guy
all God right now.
So this is the thing. I don't trust anybody that's too extreme anyway, right? If you love God way too much, I don't trust you. If you love Cuba Saturn too much, I don't trust you. If you love Q too much, I don't trust you. If you love Trump so much, I don't trust you. If you love Kamala Harris and you've never met her, I don't trust you. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
So this guy was like a huge Qer. He was like in the top 5 biggest Q people. Like he had thousands of followers, like
350K.
yeah,
on
350,000
Instagram.
followers just for his Q, like his like educating liberals. You know, he's really Christian, and he just found out some information that the truth community knew about Trump and his organization and what's going on, and completely turned and said Q is a false narrative and Trump is the Antichrist. That's what he thinks now. And but the problem is he's such a that way person that he like swings the pendulum, you know? And it's like, dude, I wish I could talk to this guy and be like, look, man, you're so, like, yes, do not idolize Trump. It is your fault. It's not Trump's fault or Q's fault that you were literally idolizing them and you're such a good Christian, quote unquote, that you idolize them. I'm sorry, that's your fault.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, didn't even say, like, thou shalt not have other
idols?
God.
Yeah, God
Yeah.
and idols and stuff.
idols, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So, it's like, that is your fault, man. This dude, I don't know, like, he went, and he's like, no, I was never threatened, nothing. And all these, like, Q people turned against him, saying he's a shill. Why would you come out so quickly? And his thing about, like, vaccinations and different stuff. And again, first of all, you ain't going to get no saint in the president. Second of all, the president doesn't do... There's a lot of people behind the president that pull more strings than the president. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, if you think Joe Biden's going to be signing things and he's the one who... You think Joe Biden runs his Twitter, you're an idiot. Okay? So, or writes his speeches. You know, these people have handlers. And then there's the shadow government, the deep state, Israel, foreign influence, and everyone around them. It is not just them as president. You know, everyone thought Obama was the savior. Dude, I was a senior in high school. Half our friends, George, voted for Obama in high school. I had a teacher cry and almost fall on the ground because she was like really elderly. She was part of like the civil rights movement, and she was like, this is the greatest day in American history. This will be the greatest president in the world and in history because he's black. First of all, half black. And again, I don't have a problem with Obama's black side. I don't trust his white side because his white side was connected to the CIA. His white side was the deep state, and they're the ones who groomed him, raised him, and put him in office. And he did horrible things. And just because people say, again, this is the same problem with Kamala Harris. They play the race card. I had a tweet the other day saying, man, I'm just really sad that there's not a full black person going to be in the White House again. It's really sad. Like, we could have had someone, but they're not going to do that. I'd feel gypped if I was Stacey Abrams right now.
Oh, yeah.
But
Did you guys know 80,000 kids were displaced in Lebanon after the explosion?
Displaced.
I'll send you the article, Darius, but yeah. That was a UNICEF article, and dude, is that going to be the new adrenochrome?
Well, if you look, there are some people that need it. And if Biden just randomly looks better and is super sharp, that motherfucker got some adrenochrome from Lebanon. Sorry. That's what he got. Yeah. Dude, they still can't find people. They don't have an official death toll because they don't know. People are gone. And then there's been so much rioting and protests that they can't account for people right now.
Yeah, dude. It just, and they're putting out videos of the where they're gonna hang the politicians. It might be just for show at this point, man. Like, these guys are long gone. These guys are in Europe. They already had, like, the prime minister, I know for a fact, because when I was in 2016, like, this was all, like, new. He had his kids were going to school in France, and he had a house in France. He was ready to go to France at any point. Like, dude, all these politicians in all these Middle Eastern countries do not live or have second homes in Europe or the U.S. to escape that shit. It's all fucked up.
Yeah.
Like we were saying before, that small population of people controls that place.
Yeah.
Like, super hard, and yeah, it just all goes back to that at the, like, I feel like Charlie Kelly, like, fucking, like putting the dots together,
Yeah,
like
in the mailroom.
Pepe Sylvia, like that's
Always, dude. Always.
yeah, I'm just like,
even more infuriating though is, like, honestly, like, okay, so you present all of the, you know, the dots on the wall, right? Everything, and it's like all factual, it's all very well sourced, and like people were just like, nah, like that's not, you're a conspiracy theorist, like that's all just silly. And it's just like, yo, like they just disregard the reality of everything that's like legit proven, legit acknowledged, you know, very well sourced by like mainstream publications or journals or what have you. And then just like, you're just a conspiracy theorist. And it's like, what does that even mean? Like, what is the point of differentiation between where I got my information and where you got your information? If like, they could essentially be the same source, but because I'm presenting what I'm saying in a way that conveys to you a very crazy reality, I'm just a crazy person. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
it's just, that's the most infuriating part.
if you were to like tell people what's happening right now in America, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, you'd be in a loony bin. They would lobotomize you.
Yeah.
Like random people are like, hey, the government's getting so much power. They're literally going to be able to just literally shut down business, halt the economy, force people into lockdown, into quarantine because of something that's barely killing people. Dude, I saw this video of this teacher just like, I can't take this anymore. I didn't sign up to risk my life every single day. I just wanted her to be like, I'm not a soldier. I didn't sign up to die. Like, you know, like for the Israel, like, and, you know, poppy seeds. You know, I wanted her to say that because it was almost that bad. She was literally like, we don't have the equipment. We don't have the subs. And we're quarantining people, and 17 people have already gotten it. It's like, okay, first of all, they're not. If people go to school and have, why don't they just say this? Look, you want to go back to school. Testing for children that want to go back to school. If you're fat, unhealthy, or sick, you get to go and do online learning. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. If you're healthy and an athlete, you can go to school. And you get tested at the beginning of the year. And then again, they're trying to get people are like, why doesn't everyone have the 15-minute test? Because it's not cheap to make, and they're trying to make them. They only can make so many, you know? Because
I got an hour test results on my shit because I gotta get tested for work.
Mm-hmm.
They paid me, but like, yo, straight up like an hour texted to me, and I was like, that's pretty fucking nuts, dude. Like,
why can't we do that with schools?
It comes down to funding. Private organizations paying for their business as opposed to a public school. You know, I mean, all those administrators, there's no way in fuck they can make less than $300,000 a year. I'll tell you what. So you know, that's
well, like, this is the thing. It's like,
budgetary thing gets slashed.
So if they decide to see, a few things I've been pushing is like, look, let's get rid of funding school instead of just school choice. We could also get rid of funding schools through property tax, right? Create a new, avenue for them to get money. And another thing is, I totally agree. If schools aren't going to open, don't fucking pay them the extra money. Give it to the families. Like I already said on here that my nephews and nieces in Vegas, Clark County, they have to literally pay for uniforms, $600 uniforms, even though they're not going to school. They have to have their uniform on while they're in front of the computer. And the school said they have to have a work setup, or school setup, that would be like for them and learning themselves. So that costs money.
That the root of the overall education system is to fucking break someone into getting ready for the 9-to-5 workday, right? That's cool. And you're already from a very young age being accustomed to being answering to your boss via via Zoom call, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to look the part while you're there because this is your job now, and this is probably going to be the way job scenarios work moving forward in the very near future.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're getting them ready, and it's so blatant that that's been the entire cause of like the kindergarten through 8th grade school system from this entire time has been to indoctrinate people getting ready for the 9 to 5 Monday through Friday workday.
Well, that's why they use bells.
Yeah.
They're like use attention. Everything. It's built on the workday, factory workday. It actually revolves around harvest.
Rockefeller education.
Yeah, literally. Did you know it revolves around farm harvesting? The time off, and like when you like have time off, summertime and all that. Not only that, it's just how the system is. I don't think it's better going. My only thing is, I don't think it's much better trying to do the same type of system with homeschooling, because you do remove the social aspect and the exercise aspect and the get out of the house aspect. I tell you something. We've all been at some point where we're like, man, I need to get the F out of my house. Sometimes going to school or work is like, I'm away from people. That's how you don't go crazy, Like, Orange Man Bad actually said something recently I thought was pretty funny. He said that divorces have gone through the roof. So he's like, people have been together for 20 years and they finally realize they don't really like each other when they spend time together. And he's like, and some people fell more in love, which that's good too. Like, but it's a sad truth that like divorces are through the roof, which whatever. And, but the problem is abuse is through the roof. Sexual and physical.
Mm-hmm.
And suicide. So it's like, hey kids, we're gonna tell you you're gonna die from COVID, but that person next to you, they're the one doing the assaulting, I don't know.
Yeah, true, fucking truth.
But yeah, man. So let's we're coming up about an hour and 22 minutes. Let's kind of do some like closing thoughts, and then we'll always finish with we don't want to kill ourselves.
We're basically under this whole entire reptilian pedophilia regime, and I hope people awaken to that.
Final thoughts, David Gardner?
I'm kind of the same. Yeah, like yeah. Who knows? I don't even know. I think at this point it's just too late. We've been asleep for so long, and now it's gonna get just real in like 2 weeks, and it's like that's the amount of time it takes to awaken everybody is just like irrelevant. So all you can really do on our own personal level is to boost your social credit score, right? Get those positive interactions. Just look at what China's doing and ask yourself how you can best thrive in that being implanted into the U.S. economy, and do that just to live right and be a good citizen in the years to come and how things are going, and wear a mask and all that shit. Yeah. So.
Thank you, Overlord. Thank you, Supreme Leader. So, I don't know. My final thoughts are, look. First of all, there are different countries, peoples, regions, areas, and influences that are influencing everything. I truly believe that they're, Saturn worshippers. Maybe aliens, maybe worse. Maybe interdimensional, lower frequency beings. There's something nefarious, right? They're beyond what, there's like 3 types of people. There's regular people that are connected, like us. We're awakened. We're connected to the universe. There's non-player characters, NPCs, which are these just like mindless dopes that fill up just space. And then there's the nefarious monsters that might not even be human, might be beyond that, but they want to be more than human. They're low frequency, and they're trying to control everything. And they know that the only thing in their way is not the NPC, it's the people that are awake. So, on one hand, you can just fall in line. I do agree we are to a point where, for most people, we're not going back. We're not in a time where, you could joke and say we're in the end game now, but we're in a tipping point. And will that tip one way or the other? And the NPCs love to tip it towards the wrong direction. So, people that are awake can try to fight back. They can try to figure things out. They could just go by land, and they can just move somewhere. I don't know what the real answer is, but be vigilant, be smart, and don't just fall for the game, because they keep playing the game. And just like George Carlin said, they're in a club, and guess what? You ain't in it. So, thanks for being on. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you, Joe.
Yeah.
Had a good time.
So, catch you guys later, and keep your eyes open, all three of them.
Oh, yeah. Take care, guys.
Later.